You ever feel like your brain just won't switch off? Like it's constantly analyzing, processing, thinking, even when you're desperately wishing for a break? Well, we're about to dive into a concept that might finally put a name to that feeling. We're always told that having a quick, sharp mind is a huge advantage. But what if all that mental horsepower has a downside, a hidden cost? What if that so-called gift is actually the reason you're always so tired? Yeah, this quote just nails it, right? It totally flips a common assumption on its head and asks us to look at our own minds in a new way. The idea is that for some of us, our brain's default setting is full throttle, and that can be a real battle. Okay, so what do we call this state of constant mental analysis? Well, there's a term for it: cognitive depth. So let's get into what that actually is. So here's the deal. This isn't just about being a deep thinker when you want to be. No, it's when your brain automatically dissects, well, everything, all the time. Doesn't matter if it's a huge project at work or just a quick chat with a friend. It's like your brain can't help itself. It's just got to do this deep level processing, whether you like it or not. And this comparison really puts it into perspective. See, for most people, thinking hard is like a tool you decide to use when a job calls for it. But if you have cognitive depth, that tool is never in the toolbox. It's always on, always running. We're talking 24/7. So you might be wondering, hey, is this me? How do you really know if this is what's going on in your head? Well, there are some pretty clear telltale signs. All right, first up, the analytical stuff. This is the constant mental chatter. You're always connecting the dots, right? Seeing patterns nobody else catches. And you just have to take ideas apart to see how they tick. Oh, and decisions? Forget about just picking A or B. It's more like you're running 100 different what-if scenarios in your head for every single choice. And this is probably the best way to describe it. It's literally like having 20 browser tabs open in your brain, all at once. Every thought, every little detail, it's a new tab. And they're all running, all eating up your mental RAM. I mean, of course it's exhausting. But listen, it's not all just logic and numbers. There's a huge emotional side to this too. It can mean you're super empathetic because you're processing what other people are feeling on such a deep level. It's also that thing where you replay a conversation over and over in your head hours later, right? Picking apart every little word and tone. All this stuff leads to this incredibly vivid, but man, sometimes overwhelming inner life. Okay, so we know what it is and what it feels like, but let's talk about the why. Why is it so incredibly draining? Where's all that exhaustion coming from? Let's dig in. So the burnout comes from this relentless cycle. It starts with your brain just soaking up everything. Then it kicks into this deep analysis mode automatically. From there, you're spotting patterns and connecting things left and right. And when that loop never, ever stops, what do you get? Total mental fatigue. It's basically a highway to burnout. Here's another way to think about it. Your brain CPU is always pegged at 100%. There is no idle mode, no screensaver. It's just going full blast all the time, chewing on the past, analyzing the present, and gaming out a million different futures. That is a massive, constant energy drain. Look, after hearing all that, I get it. It might sound like a total curse. But the whole point here is to shift how we look at this. It's about reframing what it means to have a brain like this and figuring out how to work with it instead of fighting it all the time. And this is the most important part. This isn't a bug. It's not a flaw you need to fix. It's a feature. It's literally how you're wired. So the goal isn't to shut it down, because you can't, but to understand it, to manage it. Maybe that means actually scheduling time to do nothing, or pouring all that analytical energy into something creative, or just learning to notice when your brain is going into overdrive on something that really doesn't matter. It's all about using that superpower without letting it completely drain your battery. So let's leave you with this thought. If any of this sounded familiar, if you saw yourself in this description, just having a name for it can be a game changer. Suddenly, it's not some weird, confusing struggle. It's a trait, something you can actually work with. So the real question is, now that you know what to call it, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to harness its power?